The Philippines hit with another strong aftershock hours after 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck this morning. The 6.9 magnitude tremor triggering a fresh tsunami alert hours after the initial warning was lifted. It's the largest of at least 300 recorded so far. This morning's quake leaving at least 6 dead and was felt as far away as Indonesia's North Sulawesi.
Cracked buildings, fallen debris, and widespread panic in the Philippines after a shallow magnitude 7.4 earthquake off the coast of its second largest island, Mindanao. Chaos erupted as people fled their homes and buildings. Power outages were reported in parts of the island, while internet connectivity slowed down. On the streets, people held onto nearby objects to steady themselves as the ground shook violently.
Mga kasama ko doon sa labas, sinabi ko, labas kasi may earthquake. Wala nga akong suot na tsinelas. Ito lang dala ko, sarili ko, tsaka cellphone.
The earthquake, which lasted 30 to 40 seconds, sent tremors rippling through cities and brought traffic to a standstill. Buildings and infrastructure suffered damages, with cracked roads and bridges rendered impassable. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology warns of more aftershocks.
Seismic energy kasi natin as it travels from the source, yung 23 kilometers natin, as it travels from the source towards the surface, humihina. Humihina siya, nagdi-diffuse yung energy. So pagdating sa surface, wala nang masyadong lakas.
Damage is being assessed, and rescue and relief teams are preparing for deployment once conditions are safe. The United Nations says its agencies stand ready to assist and send aid if needed. Coastal residents in central and southern Philippines were urged to evacuate following the earthquake, following tsunami warnings. The earthquake is one of the strongest to hit the Philippines in recent years. The country is still reeling from a string of natural disasters in the past few weeks, from a deadly earthquake in Cebu to destructive typhoons across its northern and central regions.
On this, we're joined by Richard J. Gordon. He's chairman and CEO of the Philippine Red Cross. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Gordon. Now, that warning of more aftershocks, in fact, that has already come to pass. So Philippine authorities, or the Red Cross as well, dealing with death and damage now and expecting potential death and damage in the next few hours, in the next few days, possibly in the next few weeks.
Yes, we are expecting that damages will come in and there will be more deaths, I suppose. But people will be terrified to sleep in their homes or in hospitals. So they would prefer to sleep outdoors. And that's why the Red Cross is issuing sleeping kits like mosquito nets and blankets and mats so they can sleep outdoors. And of course, we're providing food trucks so that they can eat outside. So these are things that often follow the path of an earthquake. And there's a lot of people who are tense. We picked up about over 300 people who are, quite stressed by the earthquake. A lot of them have to be brought to the hospital, and otherwise, apart from the 6 dead, there were hardly any more serious injuries in the area.
In fact, we're just 10 days out from the last earthquake. This was, of course, in Cebu Island, that's central Philippines. So a string of earthquakes, so needing to rebuild even as you cope with, as you say, very immediate emergencies.
That's not the only one. We had 3 weather disturbances in the north, in the center of the Philippines, and also in Cebu, in Bicol. And we had, again, a couple of earthquakes. The first one was about 10 days ago, and now this one. So it really is one after the other. And people are really stressed out. And certainly the government and the Red Cross are doing whatever they can to alleviate. We're ready with 2,000 tents in Cebu, and we'll be ready with medical tents and family tents for the people out in Mindanao. And that's what we're preparing for right now.
Perhaps this is beyond the remit of the Red Cross, but you would know where the Philippines are. More than 800 earthquakes a year, in any case, perhaps not on a very large scale, but they are there. So in a way, as long as you live where you live, these natural disasters will be something you face on a daily basis. Has the Red Cross any say in terms of apportioning funds or priorities for reconstruction so that buildings that are rebuilt are better able to stand the stress of disasters like earthquakes?
Well, preliminarily, those who lost their homes would have to be provided with temporary shelter. So we're providing family tents for a family of 5, plus, like I said, the sleeping kits required and the hygiene kits. And we're providing showers as well as portable toilets. And certainly for the children, we're providing things like a common area where we can have, they can relieve themselves of the tension. In the meantime, we have made an appeal. Eventually, we'll probably build temporary shelter units. So far, over the last 18 years, we have built about 174,000 homes in the last 18 years. And I guess we'll be ready to do so again. But the dislocation of a livelihood is one of the more serious concerns that we have. And of course, school classrooms that have been demolished, we'll have to work on that very, very fast so that kids will not lose so much education time. And of course, the hospitals. 2 of the dead tonight died because they were on life support systems, and when they were moved out, they died while being moved out. So again, we have to address the medical as well as the economic and the psychological problems of our people. And that we've been doing that. We're a disaster-prone country. I don't want to take pride in that, but I think we rank as one of the highest with the number of disasters in the whole world.
All right, a final question, Mr. Gordon. Earthquakes, perhaps perhaps harder to preempt earthquakes, but certainly, say, for example, typhoon season. I think the Philippines is heading to the end of its typhoon season. So we've seen a string of, as you mentioned, very damaging storms as well. Given that this will happen every year, there is a typhoon season. Has the Red Cross made preparations for what will happen again next year so that you are, in fact, better prepared? Final question.
Yes, in fact, we're preparing for medical tents with hospitals. We have 2 emergency medical hospitals. We want to have one in every region that we can shuffle to each region, because if the hospital collapses, then we have to bring the people to the hospitals and that they're needed. We're also providing logistical capability. We have rescue trucks that can dig into the rubble. But more than that, would be to build stronger, to make sure that our buildings can withstand the earthquake. And we always do that. There's always a survey of all the buildings that have been affected. In fact, a lot of our bridges have collapsed also. And many of our roads are currently impassable. For example, in Cebu, what normally takes about 3 hours has taken about 5 hours now, because the roads have opened up and got cracked. So these are things that we have to. Now, how do we prepare? We cannot just prepare for just by evacuating during an earthquake. We have to prepare to make sure that we can move the rescue folks as quickly as we can, and people have to learn to save themselves. The Red Cross will be issuing whistles once again, so that when there's an earthquake, people can whistle, and that they should know not just to duck, cover, and hold, but when they evacuate, they should be able to tell the relatives where they are. We're also making sure that a massive, emergency first aid is undertaken. We have started that already in the first half of the year, and we're going to continue with that. The Red Cross has trained about maybe almost 1 million first aiders, and our aim is to have a first aider in every home, and we will continue to do that.
Thanks, Master, for taking the time to join us this evening. Mr. Richard J. Gordon, Chairman and CEO of the Philippine Red Cross.